Now we will look at some of the non-income determinants of consumption and savings that will shift the consumption and saving schedule up or down. Number one is wealth. A household's wealth is equal to the assets minus the liabilities. The larger the stock of wealth, the larger will be the present consumption as well as the future consumption. We have an example of wealth effect for the US economy in the late 1990s where US stock values went up. This led households to spend more and save less, and that's going to shift the consumption schedule to the right or up and saving schedule down or to the left. We also have an example of reverse wealth effect, which is the subprime mortgage crisis of 2008, where consumer wealth went down. As a result, consumer spending went down, but the savings went up. Now, the next determinant of the consumption and savings is borrowing. So, household borrowing also affects both consumption and saving schedules. When a household is borrowing, it can increase the current consumption beyond the disposable income. So the current consumption schedule shifts up and the current saving schedule shifts down. Now, what happens to the future consumption and to the future savings? So whenever household is borrowing, this leads to some wealth effect because the assets are going to go up, but in the future this will lead to some reverse wealth effect because you have to pay back what you borrowed and the liabilities will go up. So in the future you would see the consumption going down and savings going up. Then the next determinant of the consumption and saving schedule is expectations. Let's say we have expectations of higher prices in the future. So expectations of higher prices for sweaters during the winter months. So this will cause the current consumption schedule to shift up and the current saving schedule to shift down. How about people's expectation of real gross domestic product going down or a recession in the future? So a recession means lower income and higher unemployment. If households expect a recession in the future, current consumption will go down and current savings will go up. The next determinant of the consumption and the saving schedule is real interest rate. When the real interest rate, when it goes down, households tend to borrow more, consume more. This shifts the consumption schedule up and they tend to save less, and this will cause the saving schedule to go down. Just remember what we did before was we were looking at the consumption schedules and the saving schedules, like we are looking at a movement along those schedules. And right now we are just looking at what we looked at is a shift of the consumption schedule and a shift of the savings schedule. Like if you look at this graph here, when the consumption schedule shifts up from C0 to C1, simultaneously the savings schedule will shift down from S0 to S1. When the consumption schedule shifts down from C0 to C2, the savings schedule shifts up from S0 to S2. These are the simultaneous shifts we are talking about. However, if we have taxation in the economy, a change in taxes will shift both the consumption and the savings schedule in the same direction. An increase in taxes, if this goes up, the consumption schedule will shift down and the savings schedule will also shift down. We need to remember that people's consumption and savings in an economy, those are relatively stable unless there are some major tax increases, tax decreases, or probably you own a lottery that increased your income by leaps and bounds. Then we would have major shifts in consumption and savings. Alright, if you like the video, you can click like and subscribe. Thank you very much.